Ew, it's a podcast. Today on Breaking the Third Wall, it's me, Jachplays, VaguelySomeone, and KennyDBacon.
Is that how we were introducing this now? We're gonna go Ayo.
I guess.
No.
I mean, that's how
Ayo.
Ayo. We're still figuring it out, but so we were talking between the break with the pre-show and all that shit. The Vaguely is kind of hypey for the new Metal Gear, and
No, I think it's shit. God, man, who wants to play a game like Metal Gear?
Oh, then I have totally changed my mind about you. You're okay. You're an okay person now.
Ugh. I am hype. I mean, I could dominate this, and I could dominate for an hour or two just talking about it. But there's a lot of stuff being released.
You only have 2 minutes. Bro.
I know, and that'll be at the end. I just want to this is separate, but I just Kojima did this amazing, especially for fans. For non-fans, it's a bit weird, but it's still pretty cool because the second half of it is just ridiculous. He did this trailer that went through like the entire Metal Gear series, and it's this like really emotional where it shows all the key points. At one point, he shows in Metal Gear Solid 3 him Snake finishing off the last boss, but in Metal Gear Solid 3 you could have face paint. So he's wearing this skull face paint that seems really out of place unless you know what's going, like how this is all working. And we got to see the Metal Gear Solid 3 and Peace Walker big boss rendered in the Fox engine, and they have a squarer head than the Snake that we know now, which is really weird. But then they showed the actual Metal Gear and has a sword, and
I saw that engine.
The Metal Gear Minute.
Like a few things from the game and other games that are using that engine and stuff. It's really good.
Fucking Pro Evolution Soccer is going to be the only game that uses it if Konami don't license it out after this.
Yeah.
Which pisses me off. Because the engine is just the stuff that they did when they announced... Hang on. When they announced Metal Gear, they did it, and when they announced that the Phantom Pain, because they showed off the Phantom Pain, but they made it, and this is an even bigger thing that would take more time to explain, but essentially they made the Phantom Pain act as if it wasn't a Metal Gear game and it was being made by someone else, and then at GDC they revealed that it was a Metal Gear game, and that was actually just a test for the Fox engine. And they then did this massive tech demo, and there's a really good moment in the tech demo where they show the Konami office, like the board, like where they were, where they have meetings and stuff, and the Fox engine rendering. And you really can't. And I know it's like a specific, be meticulous and be very carefully made to look exactly like it, but it's incredible. The detail that's in, that you just can't tell the difference. The stuff.
All right. Wait till the end of the show for the
That's
rest,
not Metal Gear.
okay?
We can talk about
No,
Fox engine.
we're not
That's not
gonna
Metal
do
Gear.
that.
That's used in fucking Pez.
We're not gonna fucking talk about Metal Gear the whole time.
If we let him roll this, we're probably both of us gonna sit quietly while we listen to him.
If you let me roll with this, I'll get to a point when I'm telling you about the time when I put on swim trunks, equipped a banana, and held up 50 dudes. Okay.
What?
All right. So, how about you just do your own podcast about Metal Gear? Just you.
Just me on my own. Going, oh my god, guys! Metal Gear is amazing. Oh.
All right. So, since most of us are gamers, and this is more a gaming-centered podcast than the previous one, Painly Theater of Satirical Theater, what are the games you've been playing this week?
Kenny, you go, because I've been talking too much.
What?
No, Counter-Strike. Right. So I've been playing the whole week Counter-Strike. I wake up, Counter-Strike, I rage. I maybe grab something to eat, then I play Counter-Strike again, then I rage again, then I go to bed. More or less what I've been doing.
The beautiful existence.
I played a little bit of I tried playing Shadow Warrior, but it's totally unoptimized. Like, I tried playing it over and over, just like the first 5 minutes, and I'm probably gonna return it because I can't play it. But
you got it on PC, yeah?
Yeah.
That's because you've got like some fancy, is it Alienware?
Yeah. But a lot of games just aren't optimized. So.
No, a lot of it might if a lot of games are having that problem, because Shadow Warrior runs on my PC fine, like it's absolutely fine, and I'm not I'm not
if
high end. I'm like
yeah.
I'm like sort of somewhat mediocre for 2 years ago. So it might be either you need to update your drivers or you need to do something on your hardware side.
Yeah.
Because Shadow Warrior ran really well for me, and I've not seen too many issues. And it's a good game. You want to play it.
I mean, I do want to play it. That's why I bought it, because I was playing the original, and it was like, oh, this is entertaining, even though it's a DOS game. Like, I actually wanted to play pretty much a high definition version of it. I mean, of course, there's a few different things, but yeah. But yeah, I've been playing Far Cry 2, which I never really played Far Cry before, any of the things in the series, and it's pretty fun. I've been
Far
playing...
Cry 2... I mean, I'm just going to keep talking about the games you pick up every now and again, but Far Cry 2, I actually... Because there's a shift from Far Cry... I think there's a shift from Far Cry 1 to Far Cry 2, but I haven't played Far Cry 1. And from Far Cry 2 to Far Cry 3, there's a massive one in tone.
Oh,
because
yeah.
Far Cry 3 is a lot brighter, it's a lot more colourful. And I mean, the story then still takes a bit of it. It's a bit more, it's still, you're killing people, but it's a lot visually. It's a lot more appealing. Far Cry 2. Whoa, Far Cry 2 is a far more like sort of.
It's darker.
It's darker and it's heavy to like when I play it. It feels heavy because I've got malaria and I'm trying to survive.
Yeah.
And my gun's just jammed and my RPG, my rocket's flown off in the wrong direction. And I love Far Cry 2 for that, because it's a really, you don't get a lot of games that do that.
Even though it's an older game, I wouldn't say retro, but it's still very immersive and very intense.
Yeah. I love that the whole using guns too much and they'll jam on you, because that's such a cool idea. To have your guns actually be affected by wear and tear, and then you're in the middle of a fight and you need to reload, but you can't because you can't chamber the weapon, and it's just
Yeah,
I love stuff like that.
The rest of the time this week, I've been pretty much playing Unturned, trying to get the Outdoors achievement, which is you have to harvest yourself 1,000 resources.
What's Unturned?
Oh, it's like it
the
kind of looks
zombie
like
survival that looks like Minecraft.
But it's pretty fun.
Is it in early access?
I don't think so.
What is it?
I'm gonna go find out, because when you said zombie survival that looks like Minecraft, I immediately added
I mean,
early
it's
access.
not terrible.
Unturned. Oh, it's free to play. Okay,
Yeah.
fuck it. I don't give a shit
it's
now.
free to
That's
play.
good.
Check it out. It's
So you can't say it's bad.
Oh, it is in early access though.
Yeah, it's
Don't worry
it is
about it.
early
Free.
access.
This
Yeah.
is an early access model I'll get behind. Make it free.
yeah, and you can pay for it
something
if you
broken.
want to, but you don't have to. It's just like added cosmetics or
and
whatever.
Wow, £4 is actually for an apparent permanent upgrade. £4 is really cheap.
Yeah.
Or whatever that is in dollars.
And I did like a session of Gmod this week, but other than that, not too much. But yeah,
Is it my turn?
yeah, sure.
Yes, it's your turn.
Oh, you know what I've been playing, Jack. Oh, you know what I've been playing. I'm not going to get to what you know I've been playing, but I'm going to first say Rocket League, because it's something that is good for downtime. I like to do Rocket League when I need a break from, because I've been troubleshooting a lot of technical stuff on my end to set up for streaming Metal Gear, so when I need a break from doing that, I play Rocket League because it takes my mind off it. But also to get my skills back into practice, loosen them limbs, so I'm ready. I've been playing a lot of Ground Zeroes, bit of Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes.
So can we talk about Windows 10 for a second?
Ah, shit!
What are
Windows coming off?
I haven't tried
Windows
it yet.
10. Oh, you haven't tried it?
I haven't tried that either.
So what are
I
some
don't
problems?
really trust it.
Yeah,
the biggest issue immediately is that there are about, and I'm going to pull a number out my arse, but it's probably not too inaccurate, about 20 different settings, all related to sending information about you and your private information to Microsoft, and those 20 different settings are in 10 different menus. If you do not turn them off, you are being spied upon, and you've apparently opted into that. That's the biggest problem with it. Otherwise, for the most part, apparently it's actually a really good, because it's a really good OS right now with a few bugs here and there, but that's because it's a brand new OS and is essentially Because it's in the good cycle of Windows operating systems. Because you got XP was good, Vista was awful, 7 was good, 8 was a pile of garbage, 10. Yeah, I'm gonna shit all over 8 because I don't fucking tiles. Why?
Okay.
Why?
I
Just
would
putting
say
the mouse in a random part of the screen, bring up a tile menu when I'm trying to watch a YouTube video. Don't let me do that.
I'm gonna say 8.1 is in the bad cycle. Windows 8 was decent for when it came out.
I think Windows 8 overall is just bad.
Oh,
I mean,
yes,
I've been
Kenny,
using
I love
it
you.
pretty much ever since it came out, and I've learned it's really not that bad.
You've learnt it. That's not.
Yeah.
It's an operating
and it
system.
didn't take me.
It's a Windows operating system. It shouldn't require learning. It should just be, here you go with Windows.
Then
Look
fucking
what
use
we've
an
always
Apple.
done.
You don't want to learn.
Well, no, Apple. Actually, I have trouble with Apple. Apple confuses the shit out of me because it's designed for people who don't have basic computer knowledge. So I'm like, I have basic knowledge and none of this makes sense to me. What does this do?
Yeah.
Oh, it blew up. not to shit on Apple or anything. I'm sure a lot of lovely people use lovely Apple products that are really overpriced and expensive, but that's fine. I'm not
and just
judged.
buy it because of the name, and can't even do half the stuff.
I mean, to be fair, we could argue that that's there's a similar reason why people use Windows because of the name. They know it, but Windows at least respects you.
Yeah, and
Apple will just.
There's only one company you can buy Apple computers from, or the Apple iOS or OS. But with Windows, you can buy it from almost every single company. Same thing with Linux. There's a wide variety. It's not just because the name. You can get it if you want this or this for this specific thing.
Which is really, and I know the reason obviously why Apple have done it how they've done it for so long is because that means they can set their price and they can charge as much as they want. Apple is essentially, it's flashy. It's designed to be flashy. It's designed to be this status symbol, and that bugs me. That bugs me a lot about a lot of things. It's not really exclusive to like computers. It bugs me that a lot of things are just seen as status symbols other than their function. Outside of their function, people go, because mine costed more, I'm obviously superior to you, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, like my computer, the Alienware i5, Steam machine for pretty much anyone else, it only cost me $500.
Yeah.
And if I were to buy something like an Apple product, I would get not even a quarter of the productivity that I can do on here.
I've got a good little comparison for Apple products because when
it's like buying a Harley.
But when my sister and I turned 18, we got a special present. My sister turned 18 before me. When my sister turned 18, she chose a brand new iPhone, the brand new iPhone that got released. When I turned 18, I wanted to, set up my recording stuff. So I started picking out recording stuff, and I picked out a microphone, the Blue Yeti, which was it's a fairly decent, kind of low, not low budget, but fairly decent budget for the type of microphone it is.
Yeah.
And it's good. I also picked up a pop filter and a Hauppauge HD PVR, which I regret not picking an Elgato, but that's in the past, okay? Picked all of that. That's all, set up for recording. That's the stuff I wanted. I didn't even hit half of what her iPhone costed. I added a Wii U. And games. I added a Wii U, a couple of games, and I think even a Wiimote.
Yeah.
Because that then put me around the same price, and I still think I was a bit low. Because that's how much an iPhone costs. Why do people...
I understand what you mean. It's like they put the price they put the price tag so high, but they don't really have anything to justify of what they give to you.
Yeah,
it's like, this is new. Let me just push the price tag out for $200.
But it's not even... Because it's not even new, is it? Because when they come out, they announce they've got, look at all our brand new features, and then you look over at other phones, and they're like, we've been doing that for a while.
Good to see that since 2 years ago.
Yeah. I think there was some stuff like a newer iPhone had a really special battery or something, and they're like, look at it's lasts so long, it's incredible. And then a bunch of Android users were pointing out that our phones were doing that since fucking 2 years ago. Get it together.
A couple of years ago, I saw that iPhone could do the drop-down menu and shit. My friend showed it to me, and it was like, "Wait, we already have that 2 years ago."
Yeah.
Not even
The
2 years
problem
ago.
is-
That's like the first thing that we have.
The problem is that they're charging a premium for something that isn't a premium product. It's only premium in name. It's only like high end in name. That's it.
Name
And
only.
that's the problem, because most people, and that's just going to be, a general issue with society that we're probably never ever going to fix. People don't give a shit. People don't care. They go, "Oh, I spent a lot of money on this, so it has to be good." If you found the right person, you could sell them a literal pile of shit for about $400, and they'd probably buy it
And say it's made by Apple.
Yeah, say that. Just talk
The
about
eye
the
shit.
fucking healing properties. I mean, it's basically snake oil merchants under a different name. That's it. But at least this time the stuff kind of works, or does sort of what it was advertised to do, instead of just giving you AIDS.
But
Anyway, let's
yeah,
talk about something a bit more fun.
Yeah, let's talk about let's see, Hitman Agent 47 and American Ultra. So the American Ultra writer went on kind of a Twitter rant saying, "Are there any original ideas anymore?" And I'm pretty much, let's see, I'm reading his tweets right now.
Oh, yeah, I saw it too.
So
Is it
pretty
a
much
movie
like,
or something?
yeah, American Ultra is a movie, and also Hitman Agent 47 is now a movie. So he's pretty much saying, like, the critics loved it, but, no one really saw it. I mean, I would have saw it. I mean, it was pretty cool looking. But with Hitman Agent 47, it's actually doing pretty well, considering that last week was a horrible week for movies. The new Mission Impossible...
You mean it's doing well for sales?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The newest Mission Impossible is still at number 1. I mean, that's gonna happen. I don't.
Oh yeah, that film looks fucking awesome though.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I've never really been into the Mission Impossible films, but the more I kind of look at them, the more I think these look fucking good, man. These look real good.
But where was I? Oh yeah. So last week, Fantastic Four was at number 2, and this is a way better week for movies. So even though the director of American Ultra was like, my money, why isn't this movie being cool? It's at number 6.
He became British in the middle of that.
It's at number 6, which really isn't that bad for this week. And I think Agent 47 is like number 4. But also, I want to bring up a video game movie is actually good this time.
No, it's not.
Shit.
No, it's not. That's not what I've heard. I mean, if you look at just simply the ratings on IMDb, it's mediocre. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's straight up garbage. And Metacritic is still pretty poor.
But is it made by Uable?
That's not necessary. I mean, that's
it's
the way
pretty
you
necessary.
know it's gonna be. That's the way you'll know it's shit. Otherwise, you're not too sure. But the guy who directed it, I think I looked him up on IMDb. He directed like one other film before this, and it didn't do very well. It's not. And yeah, Alexander. Let me go have a look.
Even if it's mediocre, it isn't terrible. Like it's not.
Oh no, this was his first film.
Yeah,
he hasn't.
Like if it's mediocre for a video game film, that's saying it's decent. Like it's watchable, I suppose.
Genuinely,
like
I obviously haven't seen it, so I can't provide a proper. And to be honest, I'm not that knowledgeable. Like unlike a game where I could probably give it a fair rating. Movies, I'm not that knowledgeable, so it's harder for me to analyze it. But just looking at, if I go through on IMDb, and this is the nicest version, there's a 5.9 stars. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's 9% out of 100%, obviously. And then on Metacritic, it's around 30 out of 100. It's
now
honestly...
Look at Blood Rain.
Yeah, but Blood Rain is like the worst of the worst. Like, just awful. This feels like another Resident Evil film, or maybe even you could
No.
lump the Tomb Raider films in with that.
Like, those weren't terrible. They were somewhat watchable. I actually have a few Resident Evil films.
The early
of my own.
Resident Evil films
Yeah.
were definitely watchable, and the Tomb Raider one, if you kind of forget it's trying to be Tomb Raider, it
Yeah.
suddenly becomes more fun.
Mhm.
It's not really a good. If the reason why your film seems decent is because people can pretend it's not the film it's trying to be, then it's not.
Yeah,
You've
like-
done something wrong somewhere.
Like, you look at the original Super Mario Brothers movie, if you imagine it,
No.
it's not anything. If you take away the names, you take away anything like that, it's a very silly, dumb but fun movie.
Oh, I'm not going near that film with a 10-foot pole. Jesus.
Like,
That film
just,
scares me.
like every time they say,
I don't
"Oh,
even
this-"
know what I'm watching.
every time they say, "Oh, this is Bowser, this is Mario," just think of a different name. Any other name, and it'll make sense.
Oh,
Any
look,
other name.
it's Dave and Barry. Ah,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
classic Mario characters.
Not Mario, just
Oh, yeah.
Mario.
Those classic Italian plumbers and
The
weird
Super
turtle
Mario-
dinosaurs for
And
Barry
they're not
and
even
Mary.
brothers. I think Mario
Yeah,
adopted
they're not even
Luigi.
brothers, I think.
Yeah.
In that film.
The Fario
I
family.
remember in one of the scene, Luigi mentioned that they're not related.
Yeah, like Mario adopted Luigi, and they were having a date with like Princess Peach or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. That's that one.
But in other gaming news, because not many people here know the Melvas. So this isn't a spoiler because it was in the news and it's directly from Gearbox. They were saying that the next Borderlands installment is going to be the big one.
Oh,
Now-
I don't.
What
What are
I
they
don't know
gonna
what they're
do
talking
to
about.
make Borderlands interesting?
Shut up. Saying,
No, genuinely,
straight
because
up.
Borderlands 1 was good, but a lot of the reason why Borderlands 1 was good was because it was new and it was fresh. Borderlands 2 is basically Borderlands 1, and I can just stand it for half of it, and then I realised that it's
You
not
realize
interesting.
Borderlands 2 is my favorite game.
I bet it is. To
In the
be
top
honest,
5.
I don't give a shit. Honestly, the first thing I've seen that's been Borderlands related that's genuinely interested me in the past, since after Borderlands 2 came out, was Tales, the Telltale game, because that genuinely looks like it's got humour and is interesting and is funny and is good instead of the actual Borderlands, which is just.
I mean, have you tried the pre-sequel? That's pretty good. It's a lot. It's a
literally
lot faster than
The one thing I
others.
read about the pre-sequel was that if you like Borderlands 2, you'll like this.
Mhm.
I was like, I didn't really like Borderlands 2, because Borderlands 2 was Borderlands 1 again, and I already did Borderlands 1. I enjoyed it when I did Borderlands 1. I'm not going back and doing it again, though.
Well, I've played all of them except for the series. I've only played the first 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
And so I can give an opinion and be settled with my opinion. And also, the newest game from Gearbox looks pretty cool. Kind of
What's the newest one from Gearbox?
It kind of looks like Borderlands, but different. It's still kind of the same, I guess.
Is it Borderlands, or is it an actual new IP?
It's a new IP, but it's still a shooter type of thing, and you do different abilities, totally different enemies and stuff like that. The graphics, like excuse me, the crispness of Borderlands, that's still there, but the effect where everything is cartoony, I guess most people would
Cell
say.
shaded.
Yeah, that's gone.
So it's not cell shaded, because I
Yeah.
think if it's not cell shaded, then I don't think you can liken it to Borderlands properly, because it's not in the same art style, and therefore whatever
Yeah.
comparisons you're drawing are really just
Well, to
they're
me,
not going to be.
it feels like something Borderlands could do if they wanted. It's just like, oh, it's the same studio, so it's going to give me around the same feel.
Do you know what will actually probably maybe if I'm lucky will actually make me interested in the new Borderlands? It's if they manage to get the guys who are doing the Telltale series to do some of the writing, because I've been watching the Telltale series and it's fantastic. It's funny, it's exciting, it's interesting, it's actually genuinely really good and probably the best thing Telltale have done. And since Walking Dead, because I haven't played Wolf Among Us, everything else has just been a bit mediocre, like from what I can see. But the Tales from the Borderlands thing is genuinely good.
Yeah.
Get those guys to rate Borderlands 3 and I'll be down, finally.
Like, for a few dollars, paying for that experience, totally worth it.
Yeah.
I think...
You go.
Sorry.
You go.
I think Borderlands, it's more suitable. It's like a complete storytelling, like Telltale's. If it's a complete storytelling, then you can bring up the humor. If it's like shooter game like Borderlands,
Yeah.
then
The main series.
it has to be serious, because it's a FPS. So
I think what I'd like, if I could make an ideal Borderlands, which I know is never going to exist, if I could make an ideal one, I would drastically cut back on the filler side missions, because there are a lot, like, a big problem I had in Borderlands 1, and then it kind of got worse in Borderlands 2, is that you get given all of these side missions to do, like loads of them, and then you have to do a bunch of them just to manage to do the next main mission, but once you've gotten to the point you can do the next main mission, all the other side missions you have kind of become irrelevant now. And that was a bit like, cut down. What I'd like is focus on maybe key plots. So you'd have the main mission and the main story and the main plot, and then have the side missions, because this is a trend that I've noticed in a few like games now. I'd like the side missions to be like separate mini episodes, like mini stories, where it's like fleshed out and there's actual stuff going on, instead of just find 50 crystals and shove them up my ass. Because I don't need that. That's not interesting.
I mean, I would love that. I would love to watch that.
Yeah, you would. Well, yeah. And I also, because they need to do, because a big problem I had, like Borderlands 2, the game plays like a first-person shooter MMO.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it feels to me. There's a lot of just, do my numbers stack up higher? Yes or no? If yes, win. If no, I shoot for a bit longer. Like, that's it. There's no real need. Like, I mean, I have abilities, but why would I use them? Like in Borderlands 1, I used the turret quite a lot because I played single player.
Yeah.
Borderlands 2, I did something similar, but then I realised, hang on, it's not even really that useful. As long as my number is higher, I'm gonna win.
The turrets are way better in 2.
The turret, I like the idea. It's just they need to make it so that it's not all about statistics when you're in the fight. Because when you're in the fight, it is genuinely just, have I picked up the gun on the floor that's the highest number, yes or no? If yes, jolly good.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your free pass for a bit. Now find another. Like, it's why I probably won't.
I mean, there's a lot
like
of grinding.
Diablo.
That's for sure.
Well, I probably won't ever like Diablo because I don't like that kind of style of gameplay where you're just getting random loot, and when you find a bit of random loot that's better than your current stuff, you use that for ages. Because I've like Borderlands, I'd like a proper gun. For fuck's sake, what you have to do to fix Borderlands, introduce a system where you can craft your guns and upgrade your guns and have them be your guns. Because I hate having a really cool looking gun and I'm running around as like the best fucking shit, and then finding a gun that's all like every single number is higher, and I'm like, oh, well now I have to use this, and it's shit because it's a shotgun with a sniper scope.
Is this vaguely classed right now?
Yes.
Okay. Fucking vaguely classed. But I'm trying to look at some other news stories. But all right, so let's bring up Nintendo for a second. So we talked about them slightly. Now,
Nintendo 3DS.
I haven't been a fan of them for the past few years, ever since the GameCube.
Don't you come into my house and chill on the GameCube. Don't you dare.
Anyway,
GameCube is beautiful.
So
it's literally a cube that plays games.
Yeah.
Unlike
There's
the Wii,
new
which is a puddle of
details
piss.
on the NX, where it has new optical drive.
Yeah, cartridges, aren't they?
Yeah. And that, I mean, I've heard that, Miyamoto had, like, cartridges for life tattooed on his stomach.
He does?
I heard. I don't know
Fucked up, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of true. I mean, aside from the consoles,
him doing gangster signs. Just for life, yo. Some of that Super Mario Brothers, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's, I don't know, like, do you think they would go with just cartridges or even just downloadable content? Like
a big reason why there was a shift from cartridges to discs is because you could store more data on discs. You could do more with the discs. Now we may have come to the end of the cycle of like how good we can do discs, like how much we can put on discs with Blu-rays and stuff.
Yeah.
So cartridges make sense logically. You can fit
like
a lot of
USBs.
shit now. Yeah, like USBs. You can do a lot more with them now. And if anyone was going to bring them back, it's got to be Nintendo, doesn't it?
I mean,
Yeah.
So, I mean, Sony and Xbox never... The PlayStation and Xbox never used cartridges. PlayStation almost did because they tried to do that collaboration with Nintendo, but that kind of fell flat.
Yeah, they were a sort of Nintendo company, and then they left, did their own thing. And wasn't
no, because they were actually Sony. They were actually Sony, and they wanted to get in on the market, and they tried to do a collaboration, and then they were like, "Oh, this is shit. Fuck it. We'll just make a PS1." Nintendo were like, "Fuck it, fine. We'll stay with our N64."
And then
you piece
someone
of garbage.
found, I think it was like the demo or like a thing that was actually
really
made for that. The PlayStation and Nintendo. I don't know.
What game?
Like it was a PlayStation / Nintendo. Like it was a Super Nintendo, I think, or Nintendo 64.
I think it was.
Oh,
it
you
was...
mean the hybrid console?
Yeah, that was found in like a fucking.
Oh yeah, I heard
somewhere.
of it too. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like, just saying that.
I mean, cartridges do make sense. I don't really know. Nintendo, I mean, ever since Nintendo have kind of entered the disc era, they've not done I mean, you know, the Wii sold really well because it was the Wii and it worked. It just kind of it hit a casual market.
Yeah. It was just something that was inexpensive, and so everyone had it. Not saying that the games were good, or...
Did it outsell the PS2?
I don't think so. It might have, but it was more of the convenience than the actual wanting to play decent games, because there was not a lot of first-party games. And even looking at the Nintendo U, or Wii U or whatever, like, there's barely any other games than first parties, so...
Yeah, a big problem I have with the Wii U is that Nintendo released it at a bit of an awkward period. It's more powerful, and this isn't really something up for just like debate, it's more powerful than a PS3 or a 360, but it doesn't reach the level of a PS4 or an Xbox One, so it's in this weird middle section where developers don't know what to do with it, and there's so much potential. I think genuinely right now, the PS4 controller is the best controller. That touchpad is the one addition that a controller needed to be perfect. The Xbox One is an Xbox 360 one, slightly older, and that's fine. But the gamepad, such a cool idea. And Zombie U, when it was ported, was shit because it doesn't have the gamepad, which is like really good.
I mean,
it's
I would
such
still
a cool
use a
idea, and developers
controller, personally.
The GameCube controller was awesome. I love the GameCube controller.
Yeah,
the gamepad allows for some really unique situations that haven't been capitalized on properly by the people who can do it well. Because, I mean, if you look at a lot of games, you have your menus and stuff. If you got some more third-party stuff going over there, they could then have, you know, gamepad-specific features. They did that, didn't they, for Batman? Was it?
I don't know.
I think they had like the gamepad you could use as an actual like separate thing, and you could do stuff. But it's just not really. I think Nintendo have a bit of a problem actually setting up proper third-party stuff because they're not. They just don't fit. Have you ever played Black Ops on the Wii?
I don't really play those games, so
yeah. I mean, it's a long shot. If you want to kind of, kind of highlights everything wrong with Nintendo and third party, play Black Ops on the Wii because it's just ugh.
Would anyone even be
He doesn't
online?
even have the word for it.
I have Black Ops on the Wii. I should do a video on it because it's just awful. It's weird to look at. It's weird to play.
I do have to give Nintendo something like they put in place things. Let's say the Virtual Boy. Now we have VR and the Oculus Rift. It had to take that step. I mean, yes, there was virtual reality way before that and way better. It was just that was the thing that really said, hey, this is a gaming company using it for this purpose. And sure, it bailed, and there was even
Nintendo were more willing to do like risky stuff.
Yeah,
because it all stays in house, and it doesn't because Nintendo are a gaming company first and foremost.
Well, they consider themselves more of a toy company.
Well, yeah,
and that's where it's a little iffy. That's where it's kind of
effectively. Despite the stuff
what they're saying,
they are essentially a gaming company first and foremost, so they can afford to focus on that. The problem with you wouldn't see. I mean, Sony came out with Move way after the Wii, and then the Xbox refined the PlayStation Eye with the Kinect, which is a far superior version. They don't take the risks. They wait for someone else to do it, and they see how they can work it. Nintendo were willing to take those risks. They're willing to jump right in and go, right.
I get what you're saying, but Nintendo's business-wise, they've been doing okay. They almost... Well, I don't know if they almost went into bankruptcy, but it was getting pretty close before, I think it was Mario Kart 8. They had to lay off, quite a few people.
They lost quite a few people, and that's a big. But a lot of that's probably down to the entire Wii U debacle because it should have been called the Wii U. At worst, it should have been called the Wii 2, but it really should have been called something else entirely because the Wii is an awful name.
They need to kind of just keep steady and actually pay attention to their fans and see what else is out there.
Thing is, they bring out really top-notch games, games that I would probably argue right now easily knock off quite a few other big namers. Smash or the Mario Mario 3D World.
Stuff.
It's fantastic. The first party stuff is brilliant, and a return to cartridges would probably help. But if they return to cartridges, they're not gonna have third party properly.
Yeah,
because I don't see for a second PlayStation 4 or Xbox, PlayStation or Xbox, going anywhere near that.
At least a store on the console that you can download stuff. That would be a good idea. But the way you see Xbox and PlayStation, they pay attention to their fans. They pay attention to the indie developers, and they say, "Hey, even if you don't make discs, we're gonna make you
to be fair, that took some going. And that's if you notice kind of Nintendo's trajectory, a lot of it is them kind of once PlayStation and Microsoft once they kind of started moving ahead of the pack. A lot of Nintendo has been catch up. I think basically after the Wii, a lot of what they've been doing is what other companies have been doing. Just the other companies already did it. Now Nintendo are it's only been really recently that Nintendo have jumped into the DLC market. They never really that wasn't really a thing with the Wii. With the Wii U, it started off and it wasn't really there, and then they started going, "Oh, well, now we'll release stuff for Mario Kart and stuff for Smash Brothers," and it's being seen and right now it's being seen as really good. But they didn't touch that shit. They were nowhere near it.
I think Nintendo is a hipster company, not a bad type of hipster. It's the good type of hipster. They prefer not to do what everybody else is doing. Yeah. It's they see Sony and Microsoft already oh, your console already have that. We're not going to do that anymore. Let's try something else. Yeah. What you said just now, they prefer to take the risky move. They just go for the steady. Yeah.
But also, they're from the first generation of gaming. Console
Nintendo are really far back, and it's really weird to see how all of this kind of changed to the point where we now like Nintendo, I can't even really argue that Nintendo were a front runner because they're not. It's Sony and Microsoft, and then Nintendo were doing their own thing somewhere else.
Yeah, it's like they have their own. They have their own leaderboard. It's like they're number one, no matter what.
So they've got PC at the top. Then Sony and Microsoft kind of trying to catch up with their consoles. And then, not on the ladder anywhere, in an elevator that's going sideways, you've got Nintendo just throwing a pie.
But you look at the, I guess, golden era of console, where it was Nintendo, Atari, Sega. Most of those companies, even the companies that were making games for them, aren't really around anymore. There's only a few. So the ones that aren't particularly too... They aren't going ahead into their, hey, what else can we do? How can we make ourselves cool again? How can we be as cool as Sony or Microsoft? Or even Apple.
Think because of the sort of the talk about the consoles and a lot of what's going on, I think we might just maybe, and this is a way off, this is a ways way off, either at the start of the next console generation, there'll be a newcomer, or there won't be a next console generation.
Yeah.
And when I say newcomer, I don't mean the Wii U or whatever it was called. I mean a legit competitor that is stepping forward and genuinely trying to do something. Like, to play with the big boys.
And I think that's Steam, really, with Valve.
Steam are trying, but Valve have a bit of a problem in general with their business practice. That means that the Steam machines were a really cool idea that aren't going to have enough direction to pick up enough steam. That was an accident. But
I think there is a place for them in the console game. Like playing my computer on the big screen in my living room, which is I think a 50-inch, maybe a little bit bigger. It's amazing. Playing GTA 5 on that, 1080p. Oh shit.
The thing is, it's difficult for anybody because your average rank and file consumer, because we understand, we see it and we can understand it. The average rank and file consumer, despite how accessible the Steam machines are trying to be, it's just enough like a PC to probably throw them off. It's just close enough to that point where it's complicated enough for them to have to think, for them not to want to try and do it.
Yeah.
That was a little rude. I don't mean it in that way.
I get what you're saying. In a way. But, when I was looking at this computer versus other computers that would do the same thing, this was the best in that price range. Except for the i3, which was, I think, $70 less expensive, but did it was half the things, like half a terabyte, 2 gigs of RAM, and this had full terabyte, 4 gigs RAM, and pretty much all the other stuff. But if you're going for not just a good price range, but also a feasible for everyone to use, Steam machines may be the way to go, at least the way I've seen this one. And it wasn't just like, oh, Steam machine, I want this now. Hype. It's like, oh, this is a good decision. This is not just good for playing video games, but also just using as a daily computer.
But the issue is that Steam machines aren't currently hitting, and they probably won't currently hit until Valve sort out their their business model. Yeah. It's not hitting a mainstream audience, and it won't hit a mainstream audience. Currently, the only people who are aware of Steam machines are people who use Steam.
Yeah.
So people who are already in a situation where they're kind of like, oh, this is working.
Which is actually quite a lot.
Well, if you buy this, that's still a fair amount, but it doesn't hit a market that's going to make it viable to compete. The people who are seeing it right now are like, oh, Steam machines. Okay, I mean, that's probably what I'd call my PC if I wanted to act like a fucking idiot. But yeah, sure, Steam machines. Someone else will probably get on that. Ooh, tip top. But there's no... It's not necessary for someone now for someone who knows about it. I'll talk about tits all you want. Oh, let's turn this into breaking Jack's tits in. Oh, give him a squeeze. Anyway, it's not in a position, and I don't see it getting in a position where it becomes a competitor.
Yeah,
it's just going to become a niche product. It's just going to become a niche product.
But it may be even just a slow burn. Because I kind of see that with other companies working around that. And it may be, even though most of them run on Linux, this one runs on Windows 8.1, I believe. But it may just be a slow burn, but it may add up. Who knows? I mean, this has only been, I think, 2 years that they've really trying to be going on the Steam Machine name.
The thing with Steam Machine, what Valve is not doing is they're not doing a very good job at telling us, the people that are interested at what Steam Machine, what was that called again? Steam OS?
Yeah.
Steam OS. They're not telling us what Steam OS is capable of. It's like, they're not informing the public. They're just like, here's Steam OS. Do you want to try it or not?
Yeah. And as far as I know, it's a Linux-based OS, which some OSs that run on Linux are different to others, but I would say the best thing to run it right now, if you don't know Linux, or you want to know like everything and be ready for it, 8.1 is the one to go with.
I mean, Linux is weird. I think the way the Steam machines are designed is in like, if the Steam machine with Windows 8 is probably the best way to have something that you can then also use for other things.
Mm-hmm.
But they probably want to help push the Linux thing. One, because Linux is building up steam here and there, and B, because the Linux version is the version where you just really use it for the Steam OS.
Yeah,
have it be weird.
Since the podcast is kind of repeating itself, at least we've been on the same topic for like 20 minutes. I would say that's repeating. I don't know about you, but it's time for Metal Gear Minutes with VaguelySomeone.
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh, are you gonna have to set up? Someone's excited for.
Yeah.
Are you setting up a timer again?
Yep.
Okay.
You want to do 1 or 2 minutes? Because I'll let you decide depending on the week.
Oh, I'm tempted to do 1, but I'm trying to think because I've got. What?
Wait,
no spoilers.
Before we start.
No spoilers.
Before we start, I'm gonna confess, I have not played a single Metal Gear Solid game.
Oh man.
I haven't really either. So
a lot of people haven't.
I was born at the age after the mainstream Metal Gear Solid came out, and I was born before the current Metal Gear Solid. So I was not really interested in looking into like, oh look,
you were born just in time to browse dank memes.
Right.
Whoa, okay. So I can't.
No spoilers, unless it's like actually brought out by the company themselves and said by either Konami or Kojima.
Can I talk about speculation?
Would that be considered spoilers?
Well,
anything that it's like, if it's not part of the story or any huge thing, if it's just like,
if I'm getting a minute to talk, because I'm going to need something to talk about. Can I talk about the opening hospital scene?
Okay, let's just say the first
but just
hour.
Be somewhat vague. The first hour of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair game for anyone. Like, even for TV.
Actually,
like if it's in the first episode, no worries.
Okay, just put in the description for this, if you upload it separately, put that I described the hospital scene.
Okay.
Because that like some people might not be wanting to hear that, but I'm gonna try.
Starting at 4:20, go.
Okay, so Metal Gear Solid 5 starts off, you're in a hospital bed, you're lying there, you're confused, you're dazed, there's been an explosion, you've played Ground Zeroes, it's all gone really weird, so you wake up and the doctor comes up to you with a mirror and goes, oh, hello, you're Big Boss. Well, you're not really Big Boss, do a face creator, so you change your face and you customize your face, and you can be black, or you can be white, or you can be Asian, you can do all this stuff, but that turns out that's just the online component, because all of a sudden, you're Big Boss, in the mirror, beautiful, it's gorgeous, but you've got 2 eyes, one of your eyes is kind of faded out, it looks like glass eye slightly, but you don't know. So, time skip, people die. You get saved by a guy called Ishmael. You start escaping the hospital. Then all of a sudden, there are XOF soldiers. They're coming in, they're shooting people. A guy on fire appears, blows everybody up. It's gorgeous. So you keep sneaking through, and it's basically like Silent Hill. People have pointed out the opening hospital scene. Essentially, it's like if Kojima was going to make a horror game. It's terrifying, it's spooky, it's all very scary. So you keep sneaking. Eventually, you kind of able, because a lot of the time you're crawling around because you can't really walk, and then you find out that you can fix yourself by pressing triangle and putting your arm back in place or putting your leg back in place because it's gorgeous. So you keep going, you're sneaking around, you're getting through, and then all people get mowed down everywhere. There are XOF soldiers everywhere. You finally get a gun, you start shooting people. Then all of a sudden, this guy's been helping you. You're called Ahab. He's called Ishmael. It's a Moby Dick reference. The Ahab guy disappears. He goes, "I'm saving you. I'm leaving you. I'm doing something. I'm off over here." So you go, "Oh no!" And then you kill a load of people. And then a tank crashes through, blows up the man on fire. But the man on fire is like, "I don't give a shit, I'm a man on fire. I'm going to blow everyone up." So you start blowing everyone up. So you get in a hospital, you drive, I say hospital, you get in an ambulance, you drive away. Then the man on fire is like, "I'm not doing that." He throws a fire truck at you. So you're like, "Oh shit." So you get a bit further away, you crash the ambulance. You're like, "Oh shit, the Ishmael guy's run off because he's a dick." And then Ocelot appears on a horse and you get on that, and then you pull out a shotgun and then you start shooting the man on fire, which seems really weird because the guy absorbs bullets, but now all of a sudden he actually takes damage from the shotgun, so I don't know what those shots are laced with, but it's beautiful. So you run through the forest, and Ocelot's like, "Oh shit, we need to escape, but you're big boss, kind of big boss." And then a bridge blows up, you fall, and Psycho Mantis appears, and it's all a little weird. Done now.
Okay.
I'm running that breath.
149.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
149?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And 69 milliseconds.
Yeah, nice. So, my summary to the whole thing is all I heard was something about Dick crashing into an ambulance, pissing on a horse.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That
the
poops.
entire game.
My brain automatically captures those words. It's like when you say Dick. I think you said something about Moby Dick.
Oh yeah, Moby Dick.
I don't even know how you relate to Moby Dick. I was like, Moby Dick. I was like, oh, Dick.
Oh, I forgot to talk about the whale that's on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, it eats a helicopter.
Everyone, that's the podcast. Thanks for watching Breaking the Third Wall. I've been Jachplays.
It eats a helicopter.
That's been VaguelySomeone.
Yep.
And joining this week,
Dick.
it's been KennyDBacon.
I'm the guy that sits quietly listening to this too.
A whale on fire.
Moby
Bye.
Dick crashing into an ambulance.
You guys want to say any other Moby Dick puns?
Not even really puns. They're just talking about Moby Dick.
You can't make puns on Moby Dick.